This is my GS65. I've customized it a little bit. This is the laptop that I use for school primarily. I'm a computer science major, so I wanted something that would be able to compile everything that I was coding, no matter how big the project, in a couple seconds at most. So I didn't spare any change on this laptop. It cost me, when it first came out, around $2,000. This laptop right here has an i7 8750H and a GTX 1070. It weighs around 4 pounds. It's not the heaviest laptop. It's pretty comparable in its weight to the MacBook Pro 15-inch. But I found that this one was a little bit faster than the MacBook Pro 15-inch, just spec-wise. And then I realized that using a Windows laptop, I would have a little bit more flexibility in the software that I was using to code, where I would be able to, if I needed to, run a VM on this, so that I would be able to code in, say, Java. Everything would be like I was doing it right away without any delay, without any lag. This laptop would be able to handle it. So when you open it up, it has a little bit of a chin at the bottom, but the rest of the display is going to be almost bezel-less. It's pretty close to having just an entire 15-inch laptop with nothing else into it. The chin at the bottom, it gives them a little bit more room to work with. In the bottom, this is where all your hardware is going to be held. This is where your GTX 1070 is going to be, your i7, and this has a 512 gig SSD in it with 16 gigs of RAM. I wanted something that would be able to have multiple things open, because I knew that going in as a computer science major, I would need to have web pages open so that I would be able to search things. And Chrome is a memory eater. It's what I use on my Windows laptop. On my Mac, I tend to use Safari just because that's what I prefer. But on this, I wanted to be able to have many web pages open for when I was trying to figure out what I was going to do for my specific coding project, and then also be able to have my coding IDE, the development environment, open so that I wouldn't have any lag or anything like that. This laptop, you're able to game on it. You get really good frame rates on it, especially for it being such a portable, lightweight laptop, especially as a 15-inch gaming. It's primarily a gaming notebook. It's going to be fantastic on gaming. You're going to get around, in CSGO, around 90 to 100 frames per second on battery. When you're plugged in, you get a little bit more horsepower. It works a little bit better. And in my experience, I tend to get a lot better frame rates when it's plugged in, which, for the most part, that's when you're going to be using it. I have my own gaming rig. It's a tower, and I had built that. It's got a 1080 and everything like that. So this isn't my primary gaming rig, but whenever I'm on the go, say I'm at school and I want to game in the library with a couple friends, I'm able to do that. I just need to bring my power adapter. The power adapter, it's not the smallest, but it's also not very big. It doesn't weigh very much, and unfortunately, instead of using Thunderbolt, you can't get enough wattage out of that, so it does use a barrel plug, but then you're able to just plug it into an AC adapter and you're rocking. The I/O on this laptop, here we have a barrel plug, an HDMI, a display port, USB Thunderbolt 3, and a USB. On the other side, we're going to be rocking a separated mic and headphone ports. That I would be very careful with the headphones that you choose to buy, because you want to make sure that it either comes with an adapter or that you take into account the cost of the adapter. Then you get 2 USBs and a gig Ethernet port. I find that, especially when you're using like the Wi-Fi that I have at home, I find that Wi-Fi works pretty well on this, but I mean, if you can plug in, always plug in. So the display on this isn't very color accurate. It does have that gaming glow, so it makes colors a little bit more vibrant, and it's not going to be the brightest display, because it's meant primarily to be used indoors. So whenever I am using it outdoors, I find that the glare on this can be a little bit difficult to use. You got to position yourself accordingly to the sun, so that way you're able to read what is on the display. The keyboard, it's a very low travel keyboard, not as much as, say, the MacBook Pros and the new MacBook Air, but it's a pretty low-key travel keyboard. The trackpad on it uses Microsoft Precision drivers. It's a pretty excellent trackpad, especially for a Windows laptop. I found that whenever I use something that's like a 13-inch HP Spectre. I find that this trackpad being a little bit larger, it's a little bit nicer to hold in your to use your hand on it. You have a little bit more space so that you don't have to pick up your fingers every so often to be able to go in one direction. You're able to keep the sensitivity pretty precise, pretty low, so that way you know exactly where you're pressing and you mean to press where you are. It doesn't actually have any dedicated buttons, but you press in the bottom left and the bottom right of the keyboard, and you're able to use left click and right click respectively. It does use Microsoft gestures, so say you wanted to open up all the tabs you have open, you can just swipe up with 3 fingers, and that way you're able to see all these things. Overall, this laptop being such a lightweight laptop, it does look, when it doesn't have stickers, it does look fantastic. Just has a gold flush emblem on the top underneath my diamond. It looks like a very professional laptop. You could take it to the library, you could take it to a business meeting, anything like that, and it'll serve you very well. It doesn't look as professional as, say, a MacBook with that whole aluminum chassis. It does not have the same build quality as that, so there is a little bit of screen flex when you open up the display. You're able to flex it a little bit, but nothing too crazy. Unless you try to do it, you're not going to be able to experience something like that. There is a little bit of keyboard flex. When you press down up by the speaker grill, you will have a little bit of flex there, but that's going to be just how the lightweight aluminum is made. Overall, I would say this laptop is very, very fantastic build quality, especially seeing as how you're getting a 144 Hz screen with all of the high-end specs that you're able to get in 2018 today. Alright, thank you guys for joining me. I've been Joi Boi. Please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Let me know down in the comments what you want to see next, and I'll see what I can do. Have a nice day. Bye, guys.